Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Market Today, the last 1 hour of the wheel of Wednesday. Let us see what the markets have brought upon us. This is again weakness across the board that we are tracking. 24,173 for the Nifty, down 163 points. The selling comes after losing 332 points on Tuesday, as also weakness on both Monday and Friday. So fourth day of pain on the large street. Apart from the Nifty, there is considerable weakness on Nifty Bank. 820 points lower, 52,000. Remember, yesterday the Nifty also lost 800. Nifty Bank also lost 800 points. So this is a double whammy of sorts of the same number, and we still have about 1 hour left for trade to still get over. The only index of Sensex that is in the green territory is Nifty IT. You have about 31 points in the green, but that's also just a bit in the green. Mostly the entire market is under selling pressure. Let's just give you the two prices that are doing fairly well in the index heavyweight space. Reliance 10 rupees higher at 12.55. ITC barely in the green, 55 paise higher. TCS barely in the green, a rupee higher at 43.30. And that is how the 3 out of top 10 index heavyweights are doing. In terms of weakness, heavy selling in Tata Motors, 2.9% lower, 757. Remember, the online registrations of vehicles between 1st and 17th of December has disappointed a lot of people in the market, especially on the auto space. Sharp drops coming into passenger vehicles and sharp drops coming into two-wheelers. So that has what has spooked the markets today, apart from the fact that the major event for this week, which is the US Federal Reserve decision, comes on Wednesday night today, and we will be reacting to it tomorrow. Let's look at the advanced decline ratio. 624 shares are in the green, 1768 are in the red. We track 19 indices for you. All 18 are in the red except for the Pharma index and to some extent the IT index. What we will do, ladies and gentlemen, is let's take a market view in. Our very dear friend Mr. Avinash Gorakshakar, Head of Research at Profit Mart Securities, is with us. Namaste, Avinash ji. What do you think is the sentiment on Dalal Street? What are the main reasons for this very sharp sell-off and an equally volatile FNO session?
Yeah, good afternoon, Shell. See, my guess is, Shell, markets are becoming overly pessimistic about the Fed decision. I think some reports in the market have suggested that maybe a rate cut may not come and only a commentary might come in. So I think yesterday this was prevalent in the market. Plus, there was a lot of FI selling. So, yesterday the number was almost 6,000 odd crores of selling. So I think, combined with these two factors, the markets took a big beating. And I think the same thing seems to have been repeated today. Today, once the Fed commentary comes and the final decision comes out, I think markets should stabilize. See, I think one thing is very clear that the broader markets continue to do well. I think if you see the index, it looks a pretty horrible performance yesterday and today. Yesterday, Sensex was down by 1,000 points. Today, it's down by about 500 odd points. But I think the broader market, action continues. So I think, investors are now getting more stock specific. They're looking at companies, which have got good earnings trajectory, good order books on their, in their companies. And most importantly, I think, sectors like real estate, capital goods, infra, construction, cement. I think these are sectors where there's a lot of growth happening. So Q3, according to me, should be a lot better. I think we should get some good news probably in the first or second week of January. And I think market should settle down. I think normally, volumes in this period typically, Shell, as you are aware, go significantly down because most of the FIs go out for holidays. So I think, the rupee weakness is also one factor which has contributed to the fall. Plus the trade deficit data, which came about a couple of days back, has also upset the market sentiment. So I think a lot of bad news has come in, but I think that's not the end of the story for India. I think we need to understand that markets obviously discount negativity also pretty fast and in a bigger way. So I think investors should use these opportunities actively to get into good quality stocks. I think hopefully Q3 will be better, and I think the markets should bottom out very soon.
Well, I salute your enthusiasm, Avinash, but it's a series of bad news one after the other. And it seems in hindsight, the most sensible guys were the foreign institutional people who made heavy net sales well across the board. And look at Vahan data, that is the one that is disturbing the market today. Absolute cratering of registrations, new registrations of four wheelers and two wheelers in December, between 1st December and 17th December, and the same period last year. Even two wheelers are down. What do you think is going wrong? I mean, it's not as if that people don't have money in their hand. Are price points unaffordable, or is just there no value for money left?
No, I think, Shell, I think a very important point is that my sense is, the bigger culprit is inflation. I think clearly inflation has gone up, and that is probably the reason why consumption has got hit. And I think the trend in passenger cars was visible at least a couple of months back. So I think, if you look at the numbers from Hyundai Motors or typically Maruti, Tata Motors, I think it clearly gave a signal that this time the third quarter is not going to be great. In fact, typically in the month of December, we don't see very high car registrations because of the number plate issue. But my sense is that this definitely is not a good sign, because clearly if the passenger car business and the two wheeler segments are underperforming, that means retail demand is not catching up. I think clearly the rural markets have also not bounced back to the way markets expected. So I think we'll have to wait for at least the month of January and February, because typically Jan to March quarter is a period where you see a good bump up in the volumes, both for the commercial vehicles and the passenger car business. But net, I think markets would be disappointed. I think, auto has been a very favorite sector for a very long time. And if domestic volumes don't pick up, then I think it's going to mean that a lot of these companies would offer further discounts to ensure that their inventories in the system are quickly cleared out. So near term, I think worries continue.
Both Avinash and I sound pessimistic, although Avinash is making a lot of effort to say, that the worst is behind us. But as our job is, we need to bring the truth to you. Two good news is actually three. That's the three listings that happened today. Let's look at MobiKwik, let's look at Vishal Megamart, and let's look at Sai Services. All three of them making supernormal money for investors. MobiKwik 528. Oh, this is interesting. So a fresh intraday record high, and let us see what the last 1 hour brings. Maybe Avinash's luck is what is going to rub on MobiKwik. Vishal Megamart, the intraday high that I saw was 110. Okay, another intraday high, and the third one also. Sai Services. Let's see whether we can show that to you on the screen. Yes, Sai Life 37. Avinash, one set of market is very happy. The guys who got the allotment, and of course the merchant bankers and companies themselves. In these three, anything that you like?
No, I think, Shell, within the given choice, like today, three companies got listed. One is Vishal Megamart, second is MobiKwik, and then Sai Life. I think clearly Vishal Megamart seems to be the most attractive, because I was just looking at the numbers. They operate in tier 2, tier 3 cities, and they in fact have a smaller size as compared to DMart. But if you see their EBITDA margins, they operate on 13-14% EBITDA margins. They don't have any debt on the books, fairly cash rich business, and I think a very well managed franchise. So I think currently the price which the stock is trading, it's traded at a 40% premium to its IPO price of 78 rupees. I would believe that there's good value even from these levels. I think the markets would look at numbers being maintained, data points being more strong, specifically in terms of the sales per store number which comes out post the December quarter. But I think broadly these are the kind of opportunities which investors should look at, because here the customer who comes to these shops is not a very sophisticated customer, but it represents a very large, massive opportunity. And unlike DMart, which is facing a margin problem, from the online, guys, I think here the opportunity to make a incremental upside on the margin and on the top line is quite significant. And of course, second issue which has been a kind of a very strong performer is MobiKwik. It got a very strong response from both the retail and the QIB investors. MobiKwik has been one of those companies, which is compared to the younger brother of Paytm, but I think it's profitable. That is something which the markets have liked. So I think previously the company did plan to make a public issue. They decided to, go slow, and then they came back with a revised offering after, managing their finances in a much better way. So I think the price at which you are seeing, the stock now today represents the optimism which people have got for the new age businesses. So I think if they continue to be profitable and if they continue to churn out positive cash flows, then I think MobiKwik also could be a very good addition to the portfolio. But yes, some amount of profit booking could come in because the IPO price was 278. In one day you're getting almost a doubling of that at 528, 530 odd. So some selling may come in, but I think longer term this is definitely an interesting bet, in the fintech space.
Yes, and at 528 rupees, I think the market cap would be anywhere like 4,500 crore rupees. Let me just check this for you and then get back. But I agree to large parts of what you say. The fact that you have a similar product such as Paytm getting listed, minus the pains of Paytm, and the fact that MobiKwik is profitable, and the company ticked all the boxes when it came to raising funds for the very right reasons. So let's see how MobiKwik's journey is. But again, almost 100% rise in first day listing, and this is what is a bit terrifying for people who've been in the market for a long while, that you get such a bounce that pretty much value is wiped out from the first day, and you start chasing momentum. Market capitalization, ladies and gentlemen, of MobiKwik is 4,000 crore rupees. Revenue 875 crores. Trailing 12 months earnings is 14 crore rupees. Let us see how it goes, and we will also be awaiting MobiKwik's first quarterly numbers somewhere in early Jan. Let's see how it performs. But a mega listing of MobiKwik, Vishal Megamart, and of course Sai Life. 245 as far as the markets are concerned. Weakness continues, but IT and Pharma, two strongholds for the market, both of them dependent on a weak rupee, because a large percentage, in the case of IT, about 65 to 90% of respective company turnovers come from the US, and in the case of Pharma, at least 50 to 60% of top line is from the US markets. Your favorites in the IT space, Avinash, and in the Pharma space?
I think, from the IT space, we still continue to like the large cap IT names like, TCS as well as, HCL Technologies. We believe that, both these companies have got a very strong order book, very good balance sheets. And plus, I think the commentary from the management has been pretty, optimistic. So I think probably after January, once Donald Trump takes over, I think there's a good potential to believe that order wins, from the US are going to get accelerated. From the smaller companies, Shailendra, we like something like a KPIT, a Persistent. I would believe that here, these companies are uniquely positioned because the verticals in which they operate, they have a unique set of kind of skill sets. They have got marquee customers, and most importantly, I think earnings growth, at least for these two companies, should be at least 15-17% for the next, couple of years. So I think we have been very selective in buying IT, but yes, I think we'll have to look at the December quarter numbers, the commentary, because January to March quarter is the quarter where I believe real action could come in, because December is usually a softer month for IT companies. So typically Jan to March quarter would be a quarter to watch out for, and hopefully once the IT business starts getting accelerated from US, all these companies are available from their 52-week highs at reasonable valuations, very strong balance sheets, good cash on the books. So I think all these things combined could give a steady return to investors. Although these companies may not be multi-baggers, but in terms of compounders, I think you could get a decent risk reward over the next say 12-15 months.
Fine. So this is how it is as far as the IT and Pharma is concerned. Avinash, my apologies for being pessimistic, but there is an increasing view in the market that third quarter earnings will be worse than second quarter earnings. Which side of the divide do you stand?
No, I think Shell, I think selectively, sectors like FMCG, when Godrej Consumer gave out its business guidance, the entire FMCG basket has gone, on the negative side because people are not expecting any strong volume growth. In fact, Britannia recently increased the product prices, but volume growth, they were pretty silent. So my sense is that third quarter could be disastrous for, sectors like FMCG, maybe, sectors like metals. But I think there are definitely green shoots as far as IT are concerned, pharma is concerned. Typically, if you look at real estate companies, you look at EPC construction companies, you look at cement companies, I would believe that, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And of course, auto numbers could be bad. If auto numbers are not moving, that clearly would have an impact on their margins. So I think across commercial vehicle, passenger cars, and two-wheelers, you could see margins getting crushed and obviously underperformance, from the auto sector and obviously then the automotive component sector. So I think, there are going to be bits and pieces where some good news may come in, some bad news may come in, but I think hopefully, we are looking forward that it would not be as bad as the quarter two number because quarter two was a thorough disappointment. Q3, I think selectively, I think one has to be careful on which sector one needs to bet. And of course, with the rupee getting depreciated, the rupee weakness has also going to benefit certain sectors which have got a large export potential. So I think, one should also keep an eye on certain textile companies, certain auto component companies, pharma companies, which I think have got a large export exposure and a very minimal import exposure.
Correct. When you look at the textile space, Avinash, a lot of old world favorites have come back into the market. You know, this is the third time I'm saying Indian card clothing. We used to track it in the 1990s. Back in action now. They have a large land in Pune, maybe that's coming to the market. Baswara Syntex, Vardhaman Textile, Arvind Limited, Raymond's earlier business of textiles. All of them are in top form. What is your favorite pick here and what do you think looks good?
No, I think my guess is that composite mills, the fully integrated players, which are right from cotton yarn to the final fabric, the value-added mix. I think those are companies which would benefit. I think recent developments in Bangladesh shall clearly point out that India is now very sweetly positioned to cater to the global export market. And I think even Pakistan, who is a comparable competitor, there also there are some issues. So I think probably India is going to get a bigger share of the market. The government is also looking at boosting the textile, kind of infrastructure in our country. So I think looking at composite mills would be a better idea. I think something like an Arvind or typically I would believe that looking at auto I mean textile ancillaries like Indian card or maybe cotton yarn, independent players like Indocount or typically a Vardhaman spinning, which are not directly making the value added product, but they do make the components in the entire textile chain. These could be good bets to bet on. These are early days, but I would believe that once the Jan to March quarter numbers come out and we get some more clarity on the overall global market opportunity, at that point of time, I think the markets would definitely get a whiff of what kind of earnings numbers could come in for next year. Because I think partially, most of the financial year up till December is almost complete. Markets would now look at what happens in FY26. So I think one has to be careful in picking and choosing such companies. But typically, I think, hopefully if the cotton crop is perfectly okay in the current year and cotton prices are under control, then I think you could probably see a good rise in most of these cotton yarn or cotton fabric exporting companies.
Okay, fair point. Avinash, in the last 10 days since the beginning of December till about last Friday, uh, any purchases that you made for clients, mid caps, small caps, large caps?
Yeah, I think, Shell, we have been very positive on real estate, specifically Gurgaon-based companies like Anant Raj. We have been suggesting this stock for our clients for a long time. And I think, this business is very interesting. They have a combination of real estate and data center. Another stock which we like is Heidelberg Cement. In fact, cement is also one favorite sector. We believe that, Heidelberg Cement, which underperformed in the quarter two, hopefully the second half will be much better. Cement prices have gone up by almost 30 to 40 rupees a bag. And I think the benefit of that is going to get reflected in the second half of the current financial year. So I think one or two bets which we have taken, and plus in the large cap space we have been very positive on names like Larsen and Toubro, typically something like a Cummins, because we believe that the government is very largely focused on power generation, power ancillaries, and hydrogen is a very major component. So Cummins is a very large player which has got all the technology and the product bouquet available for hydrogen infrastructure in India. So I think clearly, these are bets which could give compounder returns. But as far as Anantraj is concerned, I believe that it could possibly be headed for even 1,000 rupee kind of fair value, considering that the data center business in the next 2 years is going to be significantly more than the real estate business. So I think, the opportunity is large. One has to be a little patient. So around 800 odd, even at these levels, if one were to buy, I would suggest that you could still get at 15 to a 20% upside over the next, say, 12, 15 months.
Okay, fair point. Anantraj and Heidelberg is what is the purchase that Avinash has done on behalf of its clients. Avinash, this problem that we have between SEBI and FIs who keep hidden but keep on punting in the F&O markets. How do you read into this controversy? And what do you think of the circular that came last evening and its clarification today morning?
No, I think, see, my guess is that, markets will obviously focus on the core, factors which drive markets. These kind of things, I don't think the markets would take it very seriously, or in that sense will be negative. But yes, I think markets have definitely realized, I mean, the regulator has realized that, some kind of misinformation which is being spread out has to be clarified. And I think to that extent, the regulator is right. So, that apart, I think the markets now have some macro challenges, Shell, which I think you mentioned in your earlier conversation, that unless and until we get some clear visibility on the windscreen, like, the trade deficit data has been very bad as compared to what expectations were. The rupee has weakened, FI outflows have been very large. And plus, the mood in the market is that typically, I think it will take at least 2 to 3 months before we see some stability on the index. Like today's selling is also seems to be a basket selling by FIs. So I think we'll have to see what are the day end numbers from FIs. I mean, hopefully, if the FI number is not as large as what it was yesterday, we could see some, value buying or some sort of stability from tomorrow onwards.
Fair point. That's the view that is coming in on this FI issue. Frankly, Avinash, Friday was maybe the last straw on the camel's back as far as the regulator is concerned. Now that both the Sensex and the Nifty weekly expiries bunched on Thursday and Friday, plus there are only monthlies left, a lot of speculation and a lot of foreign money is now coming on a daily basis on this volatility curve. What are your friends in the option space telling you? Has it become very difficult to make money in this volatility? I hope all of them are well.
Yeah, I think making money on the option side, Shell, has been very challenging because, in this kind of volatility doesn't leave much for the volatile, F&O trader. And I think, in these kind of market, it pays a lot if you have a very medium to long positional view. I think, guys who do intraday positions on the option side, it's very difficult to manage positions. As you rightly said, most of the option traders end up making losses. So I think clearly, if you have a positional view and that too, which is little far away from the expiry, you rightly mentioned the expiry is very nearby. So, that also clearly will have a factor which is going to play an important role in terms of the volatility in prices. So I think, whoever does option trading has to be careful on the stop losses, because this kind of market is something which is not good for a beginner. Even experienced traders find it very difficult to make money.
You know what, Avinash, ever since the Bank Nifty weekly expiries disappeared, it's become a ghost. And look at the Sensex. All action is shifted there.
Exactly.
And that's also one of the reasons why the stock of Bombay Stock Exchange is so up. Because the activity of options which was there in Bank Nifty has found a new instrument, and that's the Sensex. And that's the reason, ladies and gentlemen, why you see this rocketing price of the Bombay Stock Exchange. I'll request the PCR to kindly file the chart of the BSC, and keep in mind November 18th. November 18th is when the expiries ended. And you will not believe that on November 18th, the price of the BSC was the lowest, 4,500. And exactly 1 year, 1 month from November 18th, which is today, the price is 5650. Why? Because trading volumes on the Sensex have shot up dramatically. So that's the reason why you see this sharp spurt that has come in on the value of the BSC stock. चलो जहाँ पैसा बन जाए वहाँ ठीक है. See, people should not become victims of somebody's better resources is all I say. If it is only machines that are having algorithmic processes and equations running against you, then ladies and gentlemen, you have no chance. They will beat the capital out of you and you will be left with either no capital or huge losses. So my understanding is, please wait for this volatility to settle down, give it 2 months or so, and then maybe again look at the options market. This is not meant for retail investors, especially in the last 3 weeks that we've seen on one particular day, whether it is Thursday or Friday, that huge swings come in. And all these swings are coming in at a time when the macro data is not in sync with markets expectations. So a bit of a pain there. Anything in the mid-cap pharma space, Avinash, that catches fancy? And of course, we'll be discussing the run-up to the budget.
No, I think, see, within the pharma basket, I think we continue to believe that, smaller companies like, say, Piramal Pharma, which has staged a good turnaround, I think has got a lot of value in the CDMO space. The CDMO opportunity, according to me, Shell, is going to be a very big opportunity. And I think over the next 2 years, if one were to invest in this company, I would not be surprised that the management bandwidth is very solid. They have the right relationships. And I think if they can scale up the business, that would get reflected in better numbers going forward. So I think year one could take a small bet, provided one has got a 12 to 15-month kind of time frame, because CDMO is a space where I believe there's a huge runway available for growth. And of course, larger players like Sun Pharma, we believe that you could possibly expect a good compounding return. They have a fairly good specialty portfolio with them. And I think the company has done remarkably well. I think Q3 numbers also should be reasonably good. So I think, in pharma, I think you got to take a selective stock specific call. So these two companies appear to be solid. Pharma has been a defensive space. And I think in this kind of volatile market, at least it gives you some comfort, from the market and price volatility.
That is true. And a lot of fresh reports are coming into PPL Pharma as well from many brokerages. So maybe that's a mid-cap pharma stock that you can look at. Avinash, my final question to you. Budget is upon us. Feb 1st, the markets will be open. It is a Saturday. How do you see this modest run-up that's happening in defense, railway and fertilizer stocks? One favorite each in these three sectors.
Yeah, I think as far as defense and railways are concerned, I think I would still like to bet on established names like Hindustan Aeronautics continues to be a very strong contender, very strong order book, a very strong product bouquet. And most importantly, the government is very seriously thinking of ensuring that more and more of defense requirements are made by companies like HAL in the country. In the railway business, we continue to be positive on Texmaco Rail. I think recently the company got a order of 187 crores. They already have an order book of almost 8,000 odd crores. So I think, this is the company where the wagon business is poised to do extremely well. They've got an order book of at least 2 years plus, and the stock has not moved up as compared to other players like Titagar or Jupiter Wagons. So here I think one could definitely look at, Texmaco Rail. And which was the third, you said fertilizer. Sorry, I remembered.
Yes.
Fertilizers, according to me, I think you should bet on the large cap names like Chambal and Coromandel. I think because there were some reports that DAP prices have gone up. I believe that the government is definitely going to increase and facilitate fertilizer consumption for the agri farmer. But I think pricing is something which is more important for companies like Coromandel and Chambal. So here I think if you probably get these stocks at lower levels, Another to add would be Shell, apart from the fertilizer pack, would be the agrochemical basket. I think
Correct.
looking at companies like Sumitomo, looking at Rallis, looking
Hmm.
at Sharda Cropchem, I think, because last year was a very bad year for agrochemicals. But this year, if you look at the numbers of Sumitomo, they should end this year with a profit of almost 600 crores. So, this is an MNC player, a very strong financials, zero debt business, cash of almost 1,500 crores. So I think Sumitomo, at these levels looks pretty attractive if you have the next, 8 to 12 months in mind.
Avinash, I have this very sinking feeling. Normally, I'm as optimistic in life as you are. That in 2024 we have about 7 trading sessions left, and the only people who will be laughing all the way to the bank will be IPO investors. Almost, you know, till September 26th, Nifty was up 21% year to date, and now we are in single digits, and we still have 7, 8, 10 sessions to go. Be that as it may, as Avinash was saying off the record when we were chatting, the show wasn't on. We take the good with the bad and the bad with the good. What can be done, except for the fact that you readjust your sales to the current wind in the market and then maybe move on. But that's how life is. Thank you so much, Avinash, and as always, it is so much so good talking to you. My final question would be on steel stocks. The,
No, I think,
the government
yes,
is
steel.
looking to impose import duty to safeguard domestic sales. Your view?
No, I think it should benefit the larger players, Shell. I think, integrated players like Tata Steel, JSW, the ferrous players like, Hindalco. I think clearly one has to be very clear in that aspect that you're going to see a lot of benefits coming to these companies. And of course, obviously the raw material producers like, something like an NMDC, something like a Vedanta, these are also players which need to be under your radar. So I think, it's still early days, but definitely if these decisions do come about, then I think you're going to see little comfort coming in the fourth quarter. And hopefully next year should be better. I mean, all depending on how global metal prices move, because, China, which is a very big buyer of metals, has unfortunately yet kept out of the markets in a big way. So unless that happens, we may not see a runaway rally in metal companies.
चलिए अविनाश जी, let's hope our collective wishes to the market bring positive cheer. Santa rally is due. We've had terrible 3 months, and let's hope the next 5, 7, 10 days are good, and that everybody makes money in calendar 2025. Thank you so much for your time. Merry
Thank you.
Christmas, Happy New Year, and
Yeah.
we'll be meeting soon.
Yeah. Thank you.
That, ladies and gentlemen, was Mr. Avinash Gorakshakar, a very astute observer of the market. He is also the head of research at Profit Mart Securities. Our next guest is Mr. Nilesh Jain, head and vice president, technical and derivatives research at Centrum Broking. कैसे हैं नीलेश जी? क्या लग रहा है बाजार में? 24,200 निफ्टी पर, ये 24,000 जाएगा या 25,000?
वेरी गुड आफ्टरनून यू। देखिए, जिस हिसाब से द वे द मार्केट हैज ब्रोकन डाउन बिलो इट्स 50-day मूविंग एवरेज, जो कि प्लेस है 24,380, तो जब तक वो लेवल क्लियर नहीं होते, आई थिंक द मार्केट इज लाइकली टू टेस्ट 24,000 प्लस फर्स्ट, then possibly we might see a relief rally towards 24,500 to 24,700. 25,000, it seems like very difficult to test in the December series. I think it's very unlikely that we might see those levels, but it looks like a broader consolidation in the range of 24,000 to 24,700 is something that we might see. But as of now, it looks like it is likely to test 24,000 first on immediate basis.
चलिए, विद दैट बैकग्राउंड इन माइंड, अब ये बताइए नीलेश जी, बाजार में क्या करें? 1-2 दिन की छुट्टी लें, 1 जनवरी तक छुट्टी पे रहें, क्या करना चाहिए? वॉलेटिलिटी जो है बहुत लोगों को मतलब निपटा रही है, आपकी क्या राय है? और सेंट्रम ब्रोकिंग के जो ट्रेडर क्लाइंट्स हैं, ऑप्शंस ट्रेडर्स हैं, उन पर क्या बीत रही है?
बिल्कुल ठीक है आपने। देखिए, जिस हिसाब से वॉलेटिलिटी एक्सट्रीम हो गई है, वी हैव सीन वाइल्ड स्विंग्स ऑन इन द प्रीवियस वीक, उससे पिछले सप्ताह भी हमने इस प्रकार के इंट्राडे मूवमेंट देखे, और पिछले 3 दिनों से जो वन साइड हम करेक्शन देख रहे हैं, दैट इज रियली पेनफुल. इट इज पेनफुल अक्रॉस एवरीवेयर. जो भी मार्केट पार्टिसिपेंट्स है वहां पे ये पेन देखने को मिल रहा है. सो सी basically it's advisable to remain very cautious in this kind of extreme volatile market. Better है pick and choose करना चाहिए for a positional trade rather than doing extreme trading. So trading is strictly better to avoid for the time being, or this correction is basically giving good opportunity to accumulate quality stocks. अब ऐसे खराब मार्केट में भी कुछ चुनिंदा स्टॉक्स हैं जहां पे हम आउट परफॉर्मेंस देख रहे हैं. सो लेट्स से फॉर एग्जांपल निफ्टी आईटी इंडेक्स लगातार वहां पे हमने कुछ चुनिंदा स्टॉक्स में स्ट्रेंथ देखी है. सो वन ऑफ द स्टॉक इज नौकरी इन्फो एज. सो इन्फो एज टेक्निकली स्ट्रॉन्ग लग रहा है. यहाँ पे इनफैक्ट गिरावट पे खरीदारी करने की सलाह दे रहे हैं. कैन बी एडेड फॉर अ पोजिशनल टारगेट ऑफ 9,000. So that's the positional target that we are expecting in Info Edge. 800, 8750 के आसपास का काफी अच्छा सपोर्ट है. निफ्टी रियलिटी इंडेक्स कॉन्स्टेंटली विटनेसिंग अ स्ट्रॉन्ग रिबाउंड, स्ट्रॉन्ग मोमेंटम. तो निफ्टी रियलिटी इंडेक्स अच्छा लग रहा है. विद इन दैट स्पेस प्रेस्टीज स्टेट एक काफी अच्छा ब्रेकआउट हमने इस पर्टिकुलर स्टॉक में 2 दिन पहले देखा था. सो प्रेस्टीज स्टेट इज ऑल्सो लुकिंग स्ट्रॉन्ग फॉर 1900 टू 1950. 1850 के स्टॉप लॉस से यहाँ पर भी लॉन्ग करके चल सकते हैं. बट इसके अलावा ऑन द कॉन्ट्री एनबीएफसी स्पेस इज लुकिंग एक्सट्रीमली वीक. तो इट्स एडवाइजेबल टू सेल ऑन राइज. सो एनबीएफसी स्पेस में स्टॉक्स लाइक चोला फाइनेंस, श्रीराम फाइनेंस, पिरामल, ऑल दी स्टॉक्स आर लुकिंग वीक. And apart from that, Nifty Auto Index is also looking extremely weak. Specifically, counters like Tata Motors, where we have seen a lot of underperformance. अभी भी ऐसा लग रहा है कि the stock can still move further from here on the lower side. So Tata Motors and apart from that, Escort, ये कुछ एक चुनिंदा स्टॉक्स है जहाँ पर weakness है. So it's advisable to focus on stocks and sectors. Index, we are still, advising to remain cautious.
Yes, Tata Motors and Escorts. Let's look at the Nifty Auto Index. Considerable weakness coming into this space. Today's Vahan data. This is the online registrations, the live online registrations that we have for passenger cars, two-wheelers, as also commercial vehicles, has come up with a very disappointing statistics between 1st December and 17th December, and that has created a lot of problems on the long side as far as markets are concerned. Two-wheeler sales are down about double digits in the same period compared with the same period last year. Passenger car vehicles are down. It's only EVs and SUVs that have shown a mild uptick, and you can see from the impact of stock prices on the auto space as to how negatively the market perceives it. And not only just the auto space, the problem is that auto is also a leading indicator for many other industries, and all of them are under pressure. So this is how the macro data is impacting local sentiment. Nilesh, what is the view that Centrum Broking has on this US Federal Reserve meet? What are you expecting, and how do you think Indian markets will react?
See, our house view is basically we are expecting a status quo as of now, at least on this particular policy, and we have already seen a kind of a downtick in the US market for the almost 10th consecutive session. So Dow has witnessed a sharp decline in previous 8 to 10 consecutive session, and I think that the Asian market and European market will also follow the same kind of move that we have seen in the last 2 sessions, specifically Bank Nifty, which has led the entire fall. Today as well, Bank Nifty is underperforming. So certainly we are witnessing pain in the financial space as a whole, specifically NBFCs and private sector banks, where we have seen a major pain coming in. So that is a cause of concern as of now. And we expect a sort of a further downtick to continue in the banking space, since the structure is not looking that promising. So it's better to avoid for the time being taking any contra bet in the financial space.
So you've named Naukri, you've named Prestige Real Estate, and you very sensibly told people to remain on the fence. Anything that you've added for your clients' portfolio in the longer term as far as Centrum is concerned? Any purchases in mid caps and small caps?
See, these are good times to accumulate the quality stocks because you are getting large caps at a very corrected price. So better focus on a large cap stocks. Let's say, for example, Reliance Industries. Yes, we
Yes.
are advising this particular stock to accumulate right now. It is available at a very corrected price. So there is no need to look at in the mid and small cap space because you have a quality stocks available at 1200, 1250. So it's a good price to start accumulating from these levels. I think it is near its multi-month support zone, and there are high possibility of a rebound coming in the Reliance Industries. So these are the stocks that we are advising to accumulate. Apart from that, within private sector bank, ICICI Bank is something that we are advising to add in the portfolio. It's a positional bet. Any dip towards 1250, 1280, that can be a good entry point for a positional target of 1400 plus. Even in the PSU banking space, we are advising State Bank of India because we have seen a 2 days of sharp decline in State Bank of India as well. So it is approaching its support zone of 820, 810. That's a good entry point. So buy in a staggered manner. These are the quality stocks which we are advising to accumulate, and we have already highlighted about Nifty Realty. Even in the Nifty IT index, we are very much bullish on TCS, Infosys, and HCL Tech. HCL Tech, although is trading near all-time highs, but I think there's still further room left on the upside for HCL Tech as well. So yes, within IT space, we are picking up couple of stocks specifically from the large cap space like HCL Tech, TCS, and Infosys.
Okay, Nilesh, what I'll do is I'll just take a detour into the markets. We have now about 16 minutes of trade left. Nifty down 143 points. The Nifty Bank down 1.4% at 52,088. The mid cap index is down 0.6%. The small cap index is down 0.8%. What is in the green? It's the IT index that is in the green, as also the Pharma index. Please keep an eye out on this. Now, the three listed IPOs. We'll start with MobiKwik. Now at day's high, 89% higher from an issue price of 279. You see 528. Let's look at Vishal Mega Mart. 43% higher from the issue price of 78, now quoting at 112. Sai Life, issue price 549, listing at 761. This is how these three have performed at a day and time when, ladies and gentlemen, most of the market is showing signs of stress. Let's look at the NSE 500. Top gainers today. Auto space might be in pain, but there is nothing stopping Craftsman Automation. 11% higher, 5664. K Fintech. This is something that I have talked about often. Fresh record high, 1338, 102 rupees higher. Bharti Hexacom, 92 rupees higher. Concord Biotech, 121 higher, 2180. Godrej Industries. These are the top 5 gainers on NSE 500. Selling pressure is seen on Piramal Enterprises. A very scathing brokerage reports pegs the target of below 900 on Piramal Enterprises. This is the top loser in the NSE 500. NMDC 14 rupees lower, 213. Deepak Fertilizers slipping 75 lower. PVR Inox seeing profit booking 87 lower. And what are the other top losers? Let me give you an interesting name. Federal Bank 10 rupees lower at 200. Okay. Most active counters apart from the 3 listed ones which show very heavy volume, MobiKwik, VMM and Sai Life. The usual suspects are there. HDFC Bank a turnover of 1940, Reliance a turnover of 14,453 crores, and Mazgaon Dock 1421. 52-week high, K Fintech, Bharti Hexa, KPR Mills, Radico Khaitan and EID Parry. So that's the run up that we have seen so far. 316 so far. Ladies and gentlemen, let's look at another space today. What would be your plan, Nilesh, BTST or STBT?
So as of now, it's a BTST in Nifty Pharma Index.
क्या
It's
बात है?
an outperformer today, or it's like bucking the trend. Nifty Pharma Index is forming a reversal candle on the daily time frame chart. So Dr. Reddy is something that is looking attractive at current level. We can expect a follow-up move towards 1300 to 1320. So within Pharma Pack, Dr. Reddy and Lupin, these are the two specific counter that we are liking. Lupin looks positive for 2120 to 2150 to 2070 could be the stop loss in this particular long. And Dr. Reddy, the long can be initiated with a stop loss below 1255 and upside target would be 1300 to 1350. So even if we see any further downtick in the market, this particular defensive sectors are likely to outperform. And Nifty, IT, Pharma, these are the two specific index that we are focusing on the long side as of now.
Okay, that's a fair assessment. What else would you prefer in pharma except for Reddy's and Lupin? We had a block deal in Cipla a couple of days ago. The promoter entity selling maybe 3 crore shares. What are the charts of Cipla telling you?
So Cipla is also looking positive because the stock has found a strong support near 1420. That's a multi-month support it has found, and we are witnessing a rebound today. It's a kind of a reversal candle in the Cipla as well. So purely from pullback perspective, 1500 to 1525 could be seen from a short-term point of view. 1430 should be the stop loss for the long position. So advisable to buy on dip, and 1500 to 1525 could be the target.
Okay, so these are the 3 pharma counters that Nilesh ji is looking into. Nilesh bhai, a quick one on ICICI Bank. This recently hit a record high. What are the charts telling you?
So charts are looking still looking strong. Reason being, this is merely a kind of a retracement that we are witnessing. Earlier, we saw a breakout from a symmetrical triangle formation in ICICI Bank. So yes, we are advising to accumulate this particular stock. I think it may test its 21-day moving average, which is placed at 1290. So if at all we see any dip towards those levels, that can be a good entry point. One can keep a stop loss below 1250. So 1250 is the support of a rising trend line if we connect all the recent swing lows, and that's going to act as a major support till the time that level is not taken off on the lower side. The outlook continues to remain positive, and we may see a rebound going forward, rebound towards 1352, or maybe we can see a new record high once again in the ICICI Bank as well. So 1350 to 1380, these are the potential target from a short to medium term point of view. 1250 should be the stop loss. Buy and decline is the kind of structure we are witnessing in ICICI Bank.
This is very well put. In the metal space, what would you prefer, Nilesh? There was a strong chart on Nalco that came up, but given the weakness that we see today, what are the charts of Nalco telling you? And apart from that, any other stock that you would want to advise on?
So Nifty metal being a commodity space is extremely volatile and extremely difficult to trade. And given the kind of structure we are witnessing in last 5 consecutive sessions, we have witnessed sort of a selling pressure coming in this particular space. So index itself is looking weak for 9,000 to 8,950 kind of levels we might see on the lower side in the Nifty metal index. So within this space, although we are witnessing a strong rebound in Nalco, so Nalco has been one of the outperformers. Recently, we saw the stock hit a new record high as well. Although some profit booking was seen, now once again it is making an attempt to surpass its 50-day moving average, which is placed at 230. So a breakout above 230 would be a buy from my side, and then possibly it will move towards 240 to 245. One can keep a stop loss below 221, and at current level as well, if somebody is initiating long position, then keep a 221 as a stop loss. Apart from that, I'm not liking any metal space as of now. I would rather wait for a decisive reversal candle in the Nifty metal index, and as of now it's an avoid from my side.
Fair point. And one generally doesn't get appreciated for providing caution, but and staying away from the market. But Nilesh, this is very well said that for a moment stay away and just wait for the volatility to settle down and look at large caps rather than mids and smalls at this point of time. Very few people know the fact that Reliance is available below 200-day DMA, and in the early part of this week there was a very important research report that came in from CLSA that noted the same things, and the fact that the market was perhaps ignoring the setup that is coming into the solar panel business of Reliance, and at this level of course it looks attractive. This is something that Nilesh ji has also pointed out. So keep an eye out on Reliance. In terms of the largest public sector bank, RIL, SBI, what would you advise, Nilesh?
So SBI is a buy, but see, in this kind of extreme volatility, you should buy in multiple tranches, buy in a staggered manner. SBI is a good portfolio stock, but there are high possibility the stock may correct towards 825 to 820 as well. So these are good entry point. We cannot exact time the bottom. So better to buy in multiple tranches at current level as well. We are advising to buy and buy up to 800 levels. 780 is a very strong support. So ideally that should be the stop loss for the longs. And we expect a rebound going forward. From a short term point of view, the target comes around 900. So its previous record high is also placed somewhere around 910. So I won't be surprised if it hits a new record high in the January or February series. So overall, from a position point of view, within PSU banking space, our preferred bet continues to remain State Bank of India.
Fair point. 323. Nilesh bhai, a quick comment on the latest research report that might have come out of Centrum Broking, whether it is sectoral or stock specific. What is the latest that has come out from your research team?
So latest, we haven't covered any stock of late, but as I mentioned, we are advising caution. But stock specific, as we have already pointed out, few stocks from the large cap space we are focusing on. We are focusing on a sector specific move, that's IT and Pharma is looking positive, and financial as a whole from a short term point of view we are avoiding. And on technical front, couple of stocks that are on our radar, we have pointed out Prestige, State, and apart from that, Clean is another stock. So Clean Science, this particular stock has taken support at its 200 exponential moving average. So this particular stock is looking strong on the chart for 1550, 1580 kind of levels on the upside. 1400 is a very strong support. So watch out for this particular stock as well. So our focus as of now is on the stock specific front and sector specific, and it's better to avoid any kind of trade on index.
In the worst case scenario, Nilesh ji, where do you see the Nifty?
See, worst case scenario, we may see Nifty testing its 200-day moving average, because in the month of November as well, we saw a similar kind of move where the Nifty index rebounded after taking support near about its 200-day moving average, which is currently placed at 23,800. So as of now, there's still room for another 400 point, but we may see some time-wise correction, some price-wise correction. But purely from a December series point of view, I think another 400 or 500 point fall we may see. And towards the end of the year, there are high possibility of a rebound, much awaited Santa Claus rally that people are expecting. We might see towards the end of this year, maybe in the last week of the month of the year. So, but for that, we need to wait. As of now, we expect some consolidation with slightly negative bias. 23,800, 23,600, that's the worst case scenario it looks like as of now.
Chaliye, so 200-day DMA test may be in the cards as far as markets are concerned. Let's hope it does not happen. But for the moment, the best buy as per Nilesh ji is Reliance Industries, simply because it's a huge large cap trading at multi-month lows, and of course completely ignored by the market. Also a good view coming into Naukri.com, already at record highs. Prestige Estates, This is also a recommendation that is coming in. And there was one more stock that you had mentioned, Nilesh bhai, it's slipping my mind.
Prestige Taste, Clean Science.
Clean Science, correct. So these are the four: Reliance, Prestige Estates, Naukri.com and Clean Science. That is a recommendation that is coming in from Nilesh bhai. Nilesh bhai, final word on the state of play of the markets, especially on Nifty Bank. HDFC Bank had hit a high, that's the highest weighted component in the bank. How do you see this one? Has momentum died out completely into HDFC, into Bank Nifty after weekly expiries were dead?
Certainly, it looks likely, but see, in this kind of structure where HDFC was leading the entire run-up that we saw earlier, HDFC Bank was the first bank that hit a new record high, followed by ICICI Bank. But when we saw some exhaustion, some profit taking that has come into HDFC Bank, similar kind of pain that we have seen in the Bank Nifty as well, being a heavyweight, of course. But as of now, first of all, we need to see where the HDFC Bank is heading. It is likely to take support near about 1790 to 1800. It is inching near those support zone. So I'm quite optimistic that HDFC Bank may witness a rebound from 1790 to 1800 from here. So that's certainly a positive sign for the Bank Nifty. And apart from that, second positive reason is that Bank Nifty has 50-day moving average support and 100-day moving average support. Both are coming exactly in the zone of 51,700 to 51,900. So it is inching towards that support zone where we might see a potential pullback. So from a pullback point of view, these are good entry point. See, if we look at India VIX volatility index, in spite of such a painful day today, the VIX has also cooled off 1%. That is very rare. We see this kind of structure that basically pointing out that going forward there could be possibility of a short covering rally. So if at all we see any short covering rally, that will certainly come in the banking space, in the financial, because a lot of short build-up we have seen yesterday as well. We have seen short build-up in the Nifty and Bank Nifty. So there are high possibility of a short covering rally that may be led by the banking and financial space.
Fair point. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the time that we bid goodbye to Nilesh bhai. Thank you so much for such wonderful conversation, sir, and especially the fact that investors would do well if they remain on the sidelines. And of course, Reliance is the top pick at this space. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll wrap the markets now. It's been a fourth day of successive losses. Nifty is somewhere in the vicinity of 24,210, down 0.5%. The low for today was 24,149 and the high was 24,400. So it's a 255 point trading range on the Nifty. The Bank Nifty, ladies and gentlemen, saw enough pain today, 1.2% lower, 629. Remember, yesterday it lost about 730 points. Mid caps and small caps also saw profit booking. Small cap index down 1%. The Nifty mid cap 100 index lost more than 0.5%. The Sensex also lost 440 points. The only positive news that I can give you for today is the spectacular listing of 3 companies. MobiKwik, 528 rupees is the closing price, up 89% from its issue price of 279. Vishal Megamart, 112 rupees, up 43% from its issue price of 78 rupees. And of course, Sai Life, up 39% from its issue price of 549. Apart from that, the Nifty Pharma and the Nifty IT index were in the green. Heavy selling pressure in metals, PSU banks, and of course, the media index. It all started with a net outflow of FIIs to the tune of 6,410 crores today, as also a lot of selling pressure coming into cash counters such as Deepak Fertilizers, PEL, NMDC, PVR Inox, and of course Bayer Crop Science. On the winning side were K Fintech, record high 1328, up 92 rupees. Bharti Hexacom 1546, up 95 rupees. KPR Mills 1128 up 56. EID Parry and Radico. Let's hope, ladies and gentlemen, the worst is behind us. Tonight, the US Federal Reserve will come out with its policy stance on rate cuts and make a commentary on the US interest rates. And let's hope from tomorrow we have a good day on Dalal Street. Here's hoping for the best and waiting for the US Federal Reserve to come out with its decision. Thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure. There is more news on the other side of this break. Please continue with Business Today Television. Thank you.
A hero's welcome for the youngest chess world champion. Chennai came